Admiral Tae-ho stood on the bridge of Seoul's Pride, watching the stars through the massive viewing window. The orbital defense station had been his home for 3 years now. Everything seemed normal until the sensors started screaming. "Sir, we have massive energy readings coming from Sector 7, reported Lieutenant Kim. Her voice shook as she read the numbers. "These readings are impossible." Tae-ho moved to the sensor station. What he saw made his blood run cold. Huge ships were appearing out of nowhere. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. The largest one was the size of a small moon. "Count them," Tae-ho ordered. 50, no, 60 ships, sir, and they keep coming. The communication system buzzed to life. A voice spoke in perfect English, but it sounded like rocks grinding together. "Humans of Earth. I am Overlord Ketharon of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been chosen to join our empire. You will surrender all weapons and government control within 72 hours. If you refuse, your species will be destroyed." The message repeated in every language on Earth. Tae-ho felt his hands shake. This was the moment they had all feared and prepared for. On Earth, President So-jin sat in the emergency meeting room, deep under the capital city. The room was full of worried faces. Defense Secretary Hyun-woo looked pale as he read reports from around the world. "The ships are real," Hyun-woo said. "Our satellites show they have enough firepower to destroy Earth 100 times over. What are our options?" So-jin asked. "Most of the world leaders want to surrender," said Foreign Minister Lee. "They think we have no choice." Fleet Admiral Min-ho stood up. He was an old man with gray hair and sharp eyes. "Madam President, I need to show you something. Something we have kept secret for 30 years. So-jin looked confused. "What secret?" Min-ho pressed a button on his tablet. The wall screen showed pictures of strange metal pieces and crashed ships. "We have been finding alien technology on Earth since 1995. Every meteor that fell in the ocean, every strange crash that we said was a weather balloon. They were scout ships." The room went silent. So-jin stared at the pictures. "You mean they have been watching us?" "Yes. And we have been watching them back. We took apart every piece of technology we found. We learned how their ships work. We learned how their weapons work. And we built our own." Dr. Yunbi, the head of the secret Terran Defense Initiative, stepped forward. She was a small woman with thick glasses, but her voice was strong. "Project Taeguk has been running for 25 years. We have ships, weapons, and technology that nobody knows about, not even most of our own military." So Jin could not believe what she was hearing. "How many ships?" 200 combat vessels, Min-ho said, "hidden in asteroid bases, underground facilities, and disguised as space stations. The aliens think we are a primitive species with no real military. They are wrong." Hyun-woo shook his head. 200 ships against their thousands? That is suicide. "Their ships are bigger," Yunbi said, "but ours are smarter. We built them using human creativity and alien technology. They follow patterns that are thousands of years old. We think outside those patterns." So, Jin looked around the room. Fear and hope mixed on the faces around her. "What are you recommending?" Min-ho stood straight. "We fight. We show them that humans do not surrender to bullies. We show them that Earth is not helpless." "The cost will be enormous," Foreign Minister Lee warned. "Millions could die." "Billions will die if we surrender," Yunbi said. "The Empire does not keep species as equals. They make them slaves. Some species they wipe out completely if they Think they are dangerous? So-Jin closed her eyes and thought. Her decision would affect every human alive. She thought about her children, about all the children on Earth. What kind of future would they have under alien rule? She opened her eyes and looked at Minho. How long do you need to get ready? The ships are already in position. We can strike in 6 hours. Then we fight. 3 hours later, So-Jin stood before cameras from around the world. She had written her speech by hand, knowing that these might be the last words she ever spoke as a free human. People of Earth, she began. Today we received a message from space. An alien empire wants us to surrender our freedom. They want us to become their slaves. They think we are weak because we have not conquered other worlds. They think we are helpless because we have not attacked our neighbors. She paused and looked directly into the camera. They are wrong about humans. We are not weak. We are not helpless, and we are definitely not slaves. Around the world, people watched their screens. Some cried, some cheered, some prayed. The Galactic Empire has given us 72 hours to surrender. I have a message for them. Earth does not surrender. Earth does not bow. Earth fights. She took a deep breath. In 6 hours, our fleet will launch. Yes, we have a fleet. We have been preparing for this day since we first knew we were not alone. Our ships carry the hopes and dreams of every human being. They carry our love for freedom and our hate for tyranny. Back on Soul's Pride, Taeho watched the president's speech with his crew. When she finished, the bridge was silent for a moment. Sir, Lieutenant Kim said quietly, "What are our orders?" Taeho smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. "We defend our home. We protect our families. We show these aliens what humans are made of." The communication system buzzed again. The alien voice returned, angry this time. "Humans! Your leader has made a foolish choice. You have 12 hours to reconsider. After that, we will begin destroying your cities." Taeho opened a channel to the alien fleet. "This is Admiral Taeho of the Earth Defense Force. I have a message for Overlord Kethran." "Speak, primitive. You came here expecting us to fear you. You expected us to beg for mercy. You expected us to surrender like all the other species. You have conquered." Taeho's voice grew stronger. "But you do not understand humans. We do not surrender. We do not beg. And we do not fear bullies." "You will regret those words, human." "No," Taeho said. "You will regret coming to our home." In hidden bases around the solar system, human ships began to move. Crews that had trained their entire lives for this moment ran to their stations. Weapons that had never been fired charged up for the first time. Engines that had been built in secret roared to life. The aliens had come to Earth expecting to find a helpless species ready to surrender. Instead, they found humans. And humans had been preparing for war. Captain Jaemin received the encrypted message while he was drinking coffee in what looked like a normal asteroid mining office. The message was simple. "Phoenix Protocol is active. Report to Bay 7 immediately." He had waited 15 years for those words. Jaemin threw his coffee cup in the trash and ran to the elevator. Bay 7 was supposed to be a storage area for mining equipment, but when the elevator doors opened, Jaemin saw something that took his breath away. A massive underground hangar stretched out before him. The ceiling was so high he could barely see it. And inside the hangar was a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ship was sleek and black, with weapons that seemed to grow out of its hull like thorns. Beautiful.
Isn't she?
Said a voice behind him. Jae-min turned to see Commander Park, his old training instructor. I thought you retired. I did retire. From the regular Navy. But Project Taeguk never stops. Park walked over to the ship and put his hand on its hull. This is the Incheon. She's been waiting here for 12 years. How many ships do we have hidden out here? In this system? 47 combat vessels? Across known space? Over 200? Park smiled. The aliens think they're the only ones who can build ships in secret places. All around the asteroid belt, similar scenes were happening. Mining stations that had operated for decades suddenly opened hidden doors. What looked like simple space rocks split apart to reveal massive shipyards. Workers who thought they were digging for metals found out they had been building weapons the whole time. On Asteroid Base Series, Commander Ye-jin suited up for her first real combat mission. She had been training in simulators for 8 years, but this was different. This was real. Squad leaders report, she said into her helmet radio. Red Squadron ready, came the first response. Blue Squadron ready, Green Squadron ready. Ye-jin looked at her ship through the hangar window. It was small compared to the big warships, but it was fast and smart. The fighter had an AI system that could think faster than any alien computer. It could learn and adapt during battle. Remember your training, Ye-jin told her pilots. The aliens fight by rules that are thousands of years old. They expect us to fight the same way. We won't. Her fighter was called the Ghost. It could disappear from sensors when needed. It could change direction in ways that broke the laws of physics as the aliens understood them. Most importantly, it was unpredictable. Back on Earth, Colonel Da-yoon stood in what looked like a normal radio tower. But she knew better. Under her feet were 3 levels of military equipment. The radio tower was actually a railgun that could shoot objects into space at incredible speed. How many installations like this do we have? Asked her assistant, Major Cho. Every major communication tower on Earth, Da-eun replied. 67 railgun positions. They've been disguised as civilian equipment for 20 years. She pressed a button on her console. Around the world, communication towers began to change. Metal panels slid away to reveal massive weapon barrels. Satellite dishes folded back to show targeting systems. What had looked like simple technology became the most powerful defense grid ever built. The aliens watching Earth noticed the energy readings immediately. Their sensors had been monitoring the planet since they arrived. Suddenly, power levels spiked everywhere. On the alien command ship, Science Officer Vextal stared at his readings in confusion. War Commander, I am detecting massive energy buildup across the human world. War Commander Zethka looked at the data. What kind of energy? Military-grade weapon systems. But that is impossible. Our intelligence says the humans have no real military technology. Check the readings again. Vextal ran the scan 3 more times. Each time the results were the same. Sir, the humans have been hiding weapons all over their planet, and in space around their planet. Our scouts never detected any of this. Zethka felt something he had not felt in centuries of conquest. Uncertainty. How powerful are these weapons? Unknown. But the energy signatures suggest they could damage our ships. In the hidden shipyard on asteroid base Vesta, Captain Boram was getting her first look at humanity's secret navy. She had been told she was being transferred to a special project, but nobody had explained what that meant. Now she understood. The hangar was full of ships that looked nothing like normal human vessels. They were built using alien technology, but designed with human thinking. They were fast, smart, and deadly. "These ships can do things that alien vessels cannot," explained Chief Engineer Wu Jin. "They can cloak. They can jump through hyperspace without big engines. They can repair themselves during battle." Bo Ram walked up to her assigned ship. It was called the Busan. The name was painted in Korean letters that the aliens would never understand. "How long have you been building these?" 25 years. Every time an alien scout ship crashed on Earth, we learned something new. We took their technology and made it better." "Better how?" Wu Jin grinned. "Alien technology is very advanced, but it follows patterns. It does the same things the same way every time. Human technology is messier, but it's creative. We mix the two together." He showed her a control panel that looked like nothing she had seen before. "This ship can think, not just follow orders, but actually think. It will help you make decisions during battle. It will learn from every fight and get better. All across the solar system, the hidden human fleet was waking up. Ships that had been sleeping in dark hangars for years powered on for the first time. Crews who had trained in secret their whole lives finally learned what they were training for." Admiral Minho stood in the main command center deep under the Pacific Ocean. The center was so secret that most governments did not know it existed. From here, he could coordinate every human ship and weapon in space. "Status report," he ordered. 47 ships are active in the asteroid belt," reported Captain Subin. "Another 31 are powering up in hidden bases beyond Pluto. Ground-based. Railguns are online and ready. What about the fighter squadrons?" "Commander Ye-jin reports all fighter wings are ready for launch. They are standing by for your orders." Minho looked at the tactical display. Red dots showed alien ships. Blue dots showed human forces. 3 days ago, there had been no blue dots. Now there were hundreds. "Open a channel to all ships." "Channel. Open, sir." Minho's voice went out to every human vessel in space. "This is Admiral Minho. For 25 years we have prepared for this day. We have built ships in secret. We have trained in darkness. We have waited for the moment when we would need to defend our home." He paused and looked at the alien fleet on his screen. "That moment has come. The galaxy thinks humans are weak. They think we are primitive. They think we will surrender without a fight." His voice grew stronger. "They are about to learn that they are wrong. We are not weak. We are not primitive. And we definitely do not surrender." Around the solar system, human crews cheered. Ships that had been hidden for decades moved into position. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait for the aliens to spring it. War Commander Vexthra was not impressed by human defiance. In his 300 years of service to the Galactic Empire, he had crushed dozens of rebellious species. Humans would be no different. "Take your fleet to their outer planets, Overlord," Kethron had ordered. "Destroy a few of their installations. Show them what happens to species that refuse to surrender." Vexthra commanded 12 of the Empire's most advanced warships. Each ship was a kilometer long and carried enough firepower to level a continent. His fleet had never lost a battle. "Begin the approach," he ordered his navigation officer. "Target the human orbital installations around their gas giants." As his ships moved deeper into the solar system, Vexthra studied the intelligence reports. Humans were a young species with primitive technology. They had barely reached their own moon a century ago. Their weapons were simple chemical explosives and basic energy guns. "Sir," called his sensor officer, "I am detecting human ships ahead." "How many?" 6 vessels. They appear to be small. Vexthra looked at his tactical display. The human ships were tiny compared to his fleet. They are either very brave or very stupid. Prepare to destroy them. Admiral Tejo watched the alien fleet approach from the bridge of Soul's Pride. His small defense squadron looked pathetic compared to the massive enemy ships. That was exactly what he wanted them to think. All ships, this is Admiral Tejo. Remember, we are not trying to win this battle. We are trying to learn. Captain Na Yun responded from the destroyer Guangzhou. Understood, sir. We gather data and survive if possible. Commander Ye Jin, are your fighters ready? Ghost Squadron is cloaked and waiting, sir. The aliens cannot see us. Tejo smiled. The aliens had no idea what was about to hit them. All ships, engage when ready. Show them what humans can do. The battle began when Vexthra's flagship fired its main weapon. A beam of pure energy lanced out toward Soul's Pride. It should have cut the human station in half. Instead, the beam hit some kind of shield and scattered in all directions. The energy that should have destroyed the station bounced off like light hitting a mirror. What happened? Vexthra demanded. Their shields are reflecting our weapons, his tactical officer reported. I have never seen technology like this. Impossible. Increase power. While the aliens were confused by the shields, the human ships struck. They moved in ways that broke every rule of space combat. Instead of flying in straight lines, they twisted and spun like dancers. Instead of keeping their distance, they flew directly at the enemy ships. Lieutenant Dong Ha commanded the destroyer Diegu. When he saw the alien flagship firing on Soul's Pride, he made a decision that would shock the galaxy. All crew to escape. Pods, he ordered. We are going to ram them. Sir, that is suicide, his first officer protested. No, it is victory. Our ship has experimental teleporter technology. The crew can escape at the last second, but the ship will keep going. The Daegu accelerated to incredible speed, heading straight for the alien flagship. Vexthra could not believe what he was seeing. They are going to ram us, his tactical officer said. No species fights like this. Destroy them before they reach us. The aliens fired everything they had at the small human ship. But the Daegu had shields like nothing they had encountered. The ship absorbed hit after hit and kept coming. At the last moment, Dong Ha and his crew disappeared in flashes of light. The teleporters carried them to safety on nearby asteroids. But the Daegu kept flying, now controlled by its AI system. Ship hit Vexthra's flagship at nearly the speed of light. The impact was like a small star exploding. The massive alien ship, which had survived hundreds of battles, broke apart in seconds. War Commander is dead, reported the second-in-command on another ship. The humans destroyed the flagship with a suicide attack, but the surprises were not over. Captain Seol-Ah commanded the stealth frigate Ghost of Jeju. Her ship had been hiding among the asteroids, completely invisible to alien sensors. While the aliens were staring at the wreckage of their flagship, Seol-Ah made her move. The Ghost of Jeju appeared inside their formation as if it had teleported. How did they get there? Screamed the alien tactical officer. Unknown. They just appeared. Seol-Ah's ship was small, but it carried experimental weapons that hit like lightning. Her quantum torpedoes passed through alien shields as if they were not there. Her plasma cannons melted through armor that was supposed to be indestructible. In 30 seconds, she destroyed 3 enemy ships and damaged 2 others. All ships, retreat, ordered the surviving alien commander. We need to report this to the Empire. But Commander Ye Jin was not done with them yet. Her fighter squadron uncloaked around the fleeing alien ships. The aliens suddenly found themselves surrounded by small, fast ships that moved like angry insects. "These are not fighters," the alien sensor officer reported. "They are moving too fast. They are changing direction too quickly. This violates the laws of physics." "Everything humans do violates the laws of physics," his commander replied grimly. Yejin's fighters attacked like a swarm. They were too small and fast for the big alien weapons to hit. But their own weapons cut through alien hulls like knives through paper. The ghost fighters had another surprise. When one of them was damaged, it did not die. Instead, it split apart into smaller ships that kept fighting. What looked like one fighter was actually a team of tiny vessels working together. When the battle ended, 11 of the 12 alien ships were destroyed. Only one escaped to carry news back to the Empire. But even that ship was damaged and barely able to fly. Admiral Tae-ho watched the wreckage floating in space. His own losses were light. 2 ships damaged, no ships destroyed, and only a handful of casualties thanks to the teleporter technology. "Sir," reported Captain Na-un, "we are receiving a transmission from the surviving alien ship. Put it through." The alien voice was shaking with fear and confusion. "Human fleet, this is Commander Zektal. We surrender. Please do not destroy us." Tae-ho was quiet for a moment. No alien had ever surrendered to humans before. "Commander Zektal, you are free to leave. But you will deliver a message to your empire." "What message?" "Tell them that humans do not start fights, but we finish them." Hours later, the damaged alien ship limped back to the main Imperial fleet. The crew was traumatized by what they had seen. Humans fought like no species in the galaxy. When Overlord Kethron heard the report, he could not believe it. 12 ships destroyed by 6 human vessels? That is impossible. "Sir, we recorded everything," Commander Zektal said. "The humans have technology we have never seen. They fight with tactics we do not understand, and they show no fear of death." Kethron looked at the battle recordings. What he saw made his blood run cold. The humans had not just won the battle. They had completely outfought a superior force using weapons and tactics that should not exist. "Send a message to Imperial Command," he ordered. "Tell them we need reinforcements. Many reinforcements." "How many ships, sir?" Kethran thought about. The humans ramming his ships without hesitation. He thought about their impossible technology and their refusal to surrender. "All of them," he said. "Send all of them." Supreme Admiral Kreldan stared at the battle reports from the human system. In his 1,000 years of commanding Imperial fleets, he had never seen anything like this. A primitive species had just destroyed an entire scout fleet using impossible technology and suicidal tactics. "This data must be wrong," he told his intelligence officer. "No species develops this level of technology without us knowing about it." "Sir, we have confirmed the reports with 3 different sources. The humans have been hiding their true capabilities for decades. They have ships, weapons, and tactics we have never encountered." Kreldan looked at the holographic display showing the destroyed Imperial ships, 12 of his best vessels gone in minutes. "What do we know about their technology?" "Their shields can reflect our energy weapons. Their ships can appear and disappear at will. They use ramming attacks with crews that evacuate at the last second. And their fighters seem to multiply during battle." "Multiply?" "Yes, sir. Our sensors showed 6 fighters engaging our fleet. By the end of the battle, there were over 30 human vessels attacking us. Kreldan was disturbed by this information. In all his years of conquest, alien species had followed predictable patterns. They had better or worse technology, but they fought according to galactic military doctrine. These humans fought like madmen. "Prepare a full battle fleet," he ordered. 200 ships under Admiral Zorthak. We will crush this rebellion before it spreads. Admiral Zorthak was known throughout the Empire as the Planet Killer. He had destroyed 17 worlds that refused to surrender. His fleet carried enough firepower to turn Earth into space dust. "You want them alive?" Zorthak asked when he received his orders. "No," Kreldan replied. "I want them gone. This human resistance must not inspire other species to rebel." While the Empire prepared its response, humans were preparing their own. Surprises. General Ji-hoon stood in the command center for Earth's planetary defense system. Around him, holographic displays showed the position of every weapon on the planet. "How many railgun installations are online?" he asked. "All 67 are operational," reported Colonel Da-un. "Each one can fire a projectile at 1/10 the speed of light." "And the missile silos?" "Hidden installations on every continent. 2,000 nuclear missiles modified with alien technology. They are 10 times more powerful than anything we had before." Ji-hoon nodded. The Empire expected Earth to be helpless. They would discover that the entire planet was now a fortress. In space, Admiral Minho was revealing humanity's greatest secret. For 20 years, humans had been building hidden bases throughout local space. The aliens thought humans had only reached their own solar system. They were wrong. "Captain Boram, report from Alpha Centauri base," Minho ordered. "Sir, we have 15 ships ready at Alpha Centauri, another 20 at Wolf 359. The aliens have no idea we have bases in other star systems." "How did we build them without detection?" "Stealth technology reverse-engineered from crashed scout ships. Our construction vessels have been invisible to Imperial sensors for decades." Minho smiled grimly. The Empire thought they were attacking a single planet. Instead, they were about to face a distributed human military that spanned multiple star systems. Dr. So-Young worked frantically in her underground laboratory. The Empire's main fleet would arrive within hours, and she had one last weapon to complete. "How do the quantum torpedoes work?" asked her assistant, Dr. Kim. "They exist in multiple dimensions at the same time," So-Young explained. "Alien shields work in three-dimensional space. Our torpedoes attack from dimensions they cannot defend against. Is that even possible? According to alien physics, no. According to human creativity, yes. The torpedoes were loaded onto ships throughout the human fleet. Each one was a miracle of engineering that combined alien technology with human innovation. The Empire had never faced weapons that could attack from other dimensions. Field Commander Jun Seo led a very different kind of mission. While the big fleets prepared for battle, he commanded tiny ships that were almost impossible to detect. "Remember, we are not trying to destroy their ships," he told his team. "We are trying to disrupt their supply lines." His microships were the size of small cars but packed with advanced AI and powerful explosives. They could slip past Imperial sensors and attach themselves to enemy vessels like space barnacles. "The Empire has been conquering species for thousands of years," Jun Seo continued. "They have a system for everything. Supply ships bring fuel and ammunition on schedule. Command ships coordinate from the rear. We are going to break that system." His ships launched quietly from hidden asteroid bases. They would arrive at the Imperial staging areas hours before the main fleet, preparing nasty surprises for an enemy that expected everything to go according to plan. The Empire's second fleet emerged from hyperspace, expecting to find a terrified planet ready to surrender. Instead, They found a trap that had been years in the making. Admiral Zorthak looked at his sensor readings in confusion. "Where are the human ships?" "Sir, we are detecting minimal activity around their homeworld. Few orbital installations and some small vessels. This is too easy. The humans showed significant resistance against our scout fleet. Perhaps they realize they cannot win against a full battle fleet." Zorthak was suspicious, but his orders were clear. "Begin the attack. Target their orbital installations first." As his ships moved toward Earth, hidden sensors throughout the solar system tracked their every movement. The humans had been watching Imperial military tactics for decades. They knew exactly how the enemy would attack. "All ships, this is Admiral Minho," came the transmission to the hidden human fleet. "The Empire has arrived exactly where we wanted them. Execute Plan Tagook." Suddenly, space around the Imperial fleet came alive with human ships. They appeared from asteroid bases, uncloaked from stealth positions, and jumped in from nearby star systems. What had seemed like a small human force became a fleet of over 100 vessels. "Where did they come from?" Zorthak demanded. "Unknown, sir. Our sensors showed nothing there moments ago. Begin evasive maneuvers. Prepare for combat." But the humans were ready for that too. Captain Wu Jin's engineering teams had turned the Sadia's entire solar system into a weapon. Asteroid mining equipment became massive railguns. Solar collection arrays focused sunlight into deadly beams. Even the orbital garbage collection system fired debris at enemy ships. "Sir, they have weaponized everything," reported the Imperial tactical officer. "Civilian installations are firing military-grade weapons at us." Admiral Zorthak realized he was not fighting a military fleet. He was fighting an entire star system that had been secretly converted into a fortress. Every rock, every satellite, every piece of space junk was potentially hostile. How is this possible? He asked himself. The answer came from intelligence reports that arrived too late. Humans had been preparing for this war longer than the Empire had been watching them. While Imperial scouts thought they were studying a primitive species, the humans had been studying the Empire. They had learned Imperial tactics, Imperial technology, and Imperial weaknesses, and they had spent decades preparing for this exact moment. The battle was about to begin, and the Empire was walking into a trap 25 years in the making. The battle near Jupiter's moons began like no conflict in galactic history. Admiral Zorthak expected traditional ship-to-ship combat with organized formations and predictable tactics. Instead, he found himself fighting an enemy that had turned chaos into an art form. Captain Wu Jin's engineering corps had spent weeks preparing the battlefield. What looked like normal space around Jupiter was actually filled with hidden surprises. Asteroids that seemed natural were actually disguised weapons platforms. Mining equipment had been converted into military hardware. Even the solar collection arrays were now focused beam weapons. "Sir, the humans are not fighting according to any known tactical doctrine," reported Imperial Tactical Officer Nexvar. "They are using civilian equipment as weapons." "What do you mean?" Zorthak asked. "Their mining ships are attacking us with asteroid processing equipment. They are literally trying to take our ships apart piece by piece." Zorthak watched in disbelief as human industrial vessels approached his warships. Instead of weapons, they carried massive mechanical arms designed for breaking apart space rocks. But these arms were strong enough to tear through Imperial armor. Major Kyung-ho commanded a squadron of converted mining ships. His vessel, the Soul Harvester, had been digging asteroids for 15 years. Today, it was hunting alien warships. Target the enemy cruiser's engine section, he ordered his crew. Use the plasma cutters. The Soul Harvester attached itself to the Imperial ship like a mechanical parasite. Its mining arms grabbed onto the enemy hull while plasma cutters designed for melting rock went to work on alien armor. "What are they doing to us?" screamed the Imperial ship's captain. "They are disassembling our ship," his engineer reported. "They are taking it apart from the outside." Within minutes, the Imperial cruiser was floating in pieces. The humans had literally dismantled it using tools meant for peaceful mining. Commander. Hyojin was running a different kind of operation. Her job was to make the human fleet look bigger and more dangerous than it actually was. She commanded a squadron of holographic projector ships. "Activate the Ghost Fleet," she ordered. Suddenly, space around the Imperial forces filled with images of human warships. To alien sensors, it looked like the humans had thousands of vessels. The projections were so realistic that Imperial gunners wasted ammunition firing at ships that did not exist. "Sir, we are detecting over 3,000 human vessels," reported the Imperial sensor officer. "That is impossible. Intelligence said they had less than 300 ships total." "The readings are confirmed, sir. We are vastly outnumbered." While the aliens panicked and fired at holographic ghosts, real human ships struck from unexpected directions. The Imperial fleet found itself shooting at illusions while actual enemies attacked their flanks and rear. The humans had another advantage that the Empire had never encountered: adaptability. While Imperial tactics were based on thousands of years of tradition, human commanders changed their strategies constantly during battle. Major Kyung-ho watched as his mining ship finished destroying an Imperial destroyer. "All units, the plasma cutters work perfectly on their armor. Switch from ramming attacks to disassembly tactics." Within minutes, the entire human engineering corps changed from one attack method to another. Imperial commanders tried to adjust their defenses, but by the time they figured out the new human tactics, the humans had already switched to something else. Captain Na-Yun commanded the destroyer Gwangju in what looked like a traditional naval engagement. But even her conventional warship fought in unconventional ways. "Load the gravity torpedoes," she ordered. "Gravity torpedoes?" her weapons officer asked. "Mining equipment for moving asteroids. But if you fire them at enemy ships, they create artificial gravity fields that tear the targets apart." The Gwangju fired weapons that should not have existed. The gravity torpedoes created small black holes that lasted just long enough to rip Imperial ships to pieces. It was mining technology used as a weapon of war. Admiral Zorthak tried to organize his fleet into defensive formations, but the humans refused to cooperate. They fought like a swarm of angry insects, attacking from every direction at once. "Sir, they are not following any tactical pattern," his strategic officer reported. "Every time we adapt to their attacks, they change to something completely different. Then, we will overwhelm them with superior firepower." But even that did not work. The humans had learned to use the Empire's own weapons against them. When Imperial ships fired their massive energy cannons, human vessels used reflective shields to bounce the beams back at other Imperial ships. Lieutenant Commander Yun Su was running the strangest military operation in human history. Her cyber warfare unit was trying to hack alien computer systems using human computer viruses. "Will this actually work?" asked her technician, Sergeant Lee. "Alien computers are very advanced, but they follow logical patterns," Yun Su explained. "Human viruses are chaotic and unpredictable. Their security systems do not know how to handle random, nonsensical code." She was right. Imperial computer systems were designed to defend against sophisticated cyber attacks. They had no defense against human malware that made no logical sense. When the human viruses infected Imperial ship networks, chaos erupted. Weapons fired at random targets. Navigation systems sent ships flying in wrong directions. Life support systems played human music instead of maintaining air circulation. "Sir, our ships are malfunctioning," reported the Imperial communication officer. "The computer systems are infected with some kind of digital disease." "How is that possible?" "Unknown. Our cyber defenses are the most advanced in the galaxy. But this malware does not behave like any attack software we have seen." 3. Imperial cruisers began firing on each other because their targeting computers had been scrambled by human viruses. The virus was programmed to make alien ships treat other alien ships as enemies. The most shocking human innovation was Captain Su Jin's nanite swarm. These were microscopic machines that could reproduce themselves using materials from enemy ships. "Release the swarm," President Sojin had authorized. But only as a last resort. Sujin's ship fired what looked like a cloud of space dust at the Imperial fleet. The aliens ignored it completely. That was a mistake. The nanites landed on Imperial ship hulls and began to work. They consumed alien metal and used it to build more nanites. Within hours, entire Imperial vessels were being converted into human ships from the inside out. "Sir, our hull is changing," reported an Imperial engineer. "The metal is rebuilding itself into different configurations." "What do you mean?" "Our ship is becoming a human ship. The nanites are rewriting our vessels' entire structure." Admiral Zorthak watched in horror as his fleet was literally eaten and rebuilt by microscopic machines. Ships that had served the Empire for centuries were becoming human vessels. "How do we stop this?" "We cannot," his science officer reported. "The nanites are self-replicating and self-directing. They will continue until they have converted our entire fleet." The humans had done something no species in galactic history had accomplished. They were not just winning a space battle. They were capturing and converting an entire enemy fleet during combat. By the end of the engagement, Admiral Zorthak found himself commanding only a handful of uninfected ships. The rest of his fleet was now flying under human control, operated by nanite reprogrammed computer systems. "Sir, should we retreat?" his remaining officers asked. Zorthak looked at the tactical display. What had been a massive Imperial advantage was now a human victory. His 200 ships had been reduced to 12 functional vessels. The humans had gained over 100 new ships from his converted fleet. "Send a message to Imperial Command," he ordered. "Tell them that humans do not fight like any known species. Tell them we need to reconsider our entire approach to this war." What should we tell them about human capabilities? Zorthak thought about nanites that ate ships, viruses that drove computers insane, and mining equipment used as weapons of war. Tell them that humans have weaponized everything, including things that should not be weapons. Admiral Zorthak's call for reinforcements reached Imperial Command just as Supreme Admiral Kreldan was receiving reports from across the galaxy. The human rebellion was having effects far beyond Earth's solar system. "Sir, we have uprising. Reports from the Kepler colonies," reported Intelligence Director Vexishon. 3 subjugated species have declared independence in the last 6 hours. What does this have to do with the humans? They are citing human resistance as inspiration. They say if a primitive species can fight the Empire, so can they. Kreldan felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Fear. Not fear of human military power, but fear of human ideas. The Empire controlled the galaxy through intimidation. If species stopped being afraid, the entire Imperial system would collapse. "Double the reinforcements to the human system," he ordered. "This rebellion must be crushed immediately." Captain Ha Yun commanded the reconnaissance ship Incheon's Ghost. Her mission was to find Imperial staging areas and gather intelligence on enemy reinforcements. What she discovered changed the entire war. "Admiral Minho, this is Captain Ha Yun. I have found the main Imperial supply depot." Report. "It is a massive space station in the Alpha Centauri system. They are staging over 500 ships there for the assault on Earth." Minho looked at the intelligence data. The station was heavily defended and supposedly impossible to attack. But humans had already proven that impossible was just another word for challenging. "Colonel Inho, prepare your assault teams. We are going to attack their main base." Colonel Inho had been waiting his entire career for a mission like this. His team specialized in boarding actions and close combat. They would take the fight directly to the enemy. "Sir, the station has over 10,000 Imperial troops. We have 300 Marines. Then we will have to be creative." The assault began with Lieutenant Commander Yun Su's cyber warfare unit. Her team had learned to hack Imperial systems during the previous battle. Now they would use that knowledge for sabotage. "Remember, we are not trying to control their systems," she told her hackers. "We are trying to confuse them, make everything malfunction at the same time." Her team transmitted human computer viruses to the Imperial station. The viruses were designed to create chaos rather than steal information. Within minutes, the station's defenses began firing randomly. Life support systems malfunctioned. Communication networks played human music instead of carrying military orders. While the station's defenders were dealing with computer chaos, Inho's Marines launched their attack. They used small, fast ships that could slip past the confused defense systems. "All teams, remember the plan," Inho said over the radio. "We are not trying to capture the station. We are trying to turn it into a human base." The Marines carried Captain Sujin's nanite swarm in portable canisters. Instead of fighting the Imperial troops directly, they released nanites throughout the station. The microscopic machines began converting Imperial technology into human equipment. "What is happening to our weapons?" asked an Imperial trooper. "They are changing," his sergeant replied. "The metal is reshaping itself. Our guns are becoming human weapons." Within hours, the Imperial supply depot was transforming. Alien corridors became human-designed spaces. Imperial computers were rewritten to respond to human commands. Even the station's artificial gravity was adjusted to Earth normal levels. The Imperial defenders found themselves fighting on a base that was becoming more human with every passing minute. Their own weapons turned against them as nanites reprogrammed. "The targeting systems. This is impossible," reported the station commander to Admiral Zorthak. "The humans are conquering us from the inside. They are not destroying our base. They are stealing it." The success at the supply depot had immediate effects throughout the Imperial fleet. Ships that were supposed to receive fuel and ammunition found their supply lines cut. Reinforcements that were supposed to join the assault on Earth were stranded without resources, but the humans were not finished. President Sojin had authorized the use of their most controversial weapon, Captain Sujin's advanced nanite swarm that could self-replicate and spread between ships. "Release the plague," she ordered. This was not like the localized nanites used. In previous battles, these nanites could spread from ship to ship, converting entire fleets. They were programmed to be selective, only affecting Imperial technology while leaving other species alone. The nanite plague spread through the Imperial fleet like a digital disease. Ships that had served the Empire for centuries were rewritten into human vessels. Their crews found themselves on ships that no longer responded to Imperial commands. "Sir, we are losing contact with our entire outer fleet," reported Admiral Zorthak's communication officer. 60 ships have gone silent in the last hour. Are they destroyed? No, sir. They are responding to human communication frequencies. I think they have been captured. Captured while in space? How? The answer came from the few Imperial ships that managed to escape the nanite plague. Their crews reported that human nanites had infected their vessels and converted them into human ships while they were still aboard. "The nanites did not kill us," reported one escape pod pilot. "They changed our ship around us. By the time we realized what was happening, we were flying a human vessel." The psychological effect was devastating. Imperial crews began to fear their own ships, wondering if human nanites were already aboard. Some ships retreated rather than risk infection. Others fired on their own allies, suspecting they had been converted. Back on Earth, General Ji-hoon was coordinating the planetary defense as Imperial reinforcements arrived. But the reinforcements were much smaller than expected, thanks to the successful attacks on their supply lines. "Sir, the orbital railguns are charged and ready," reported Colonel Da-yoon. "Fire when they enter range." Earth's hidden defense grid unleashed a storm of projectiles that traveled at 1/10 the speed of light. The Imperial ships had shields designed to stop energy weapons, but they were not prepared for solid objects moving at near relativistic speeds. "What are they firing at us?" asked an Imperial ship captain. "Solid metal projectiles. But they are moving faster than our shields can deflect." The railgun rounds punched through Imperial shields like they were made of paper. Ships that had survived battles across the galaxy were crippled by weapons that fired simple metal slugs. Admiral Min-ho watched the tactical display as the tide of battle turned completely. What had started as an Imperial invasion was becoming a human counterattack. "All ships, prepare for Phase 3, he ordered. "Sir, what is Phase 3? Asked Captain Bo-Ram. "We stopped playing defense, now we take the war to them." Human ships that had been hiding throughout local space began to move. The aliens had thought they were fighting for control of Earth's solar system. They were about to discover that humans had bases and fleets in dozens of nearby star systems. "Sir, we are detecting human ships jumping into the system from Wolf 359, Alpha Centauri, and Proxima Centauri," reported the Imperial sensor officer. "That is impossible. Humans do not have interstellar capability." The sensor readings are confirmed. They have been building hidden bases throughout local space. Admiral Zorthak realized he was not fighting a planetary defense force. He was fighting an interstellar human military that had been secretly expanding for decades. The Empire had been so focused on Earth that they had missed humanity's expansion into nearby star systems. "Sir, incoming message from Imperial Command." His communication officer reported. "Put it through!" Supreme Admiral Kreldan's voice was grim. "Admiral Zorthak, you are ordered to withdraw immediately. The human rebellion has spread to 17 systems. We need every ship to contain the uprising." "Sir, we can still win here." "No, you cannot. The humans have already won. They have inspired half the galaxy to revolt against us. Retreat while you still can." As the Imperial fleet began its withdrawal, Captain Ha-un's reconnaissance ships followed them. The humans were no longer content to defend their home. They were going to hunt down every Imperial ship and convert them with nanite swarms. "Admiral Min-ho," Ha-un reported, "the Imperial fleet is retreating. Should we pursue?" "Yes, Min-ho. replied, "but not to destroy them. Follow them home. It is time to take this war to the Empire's capital." The hunter had become the hunted. The Empire that had come to crush humanity was now fleeing from human forces that seemed to grow stronger. With every battle, news of human victories spread across the galaxy faster than Imperial ships could retreat. For the first time in 10,000 years, a species had not only resisted the Galactic Empire, but had actually defeated them in open combat. Admiral Minho stood in the command center reading reports from across known space. The results were beyond anything he had hoped for. "Sir, we have received communications from 43 different species," reported Captain Bo Ram. "They are asking for help with their own rebellions against the Empire." "What kind of help?" "Military, support, weapons technology, and tactical advice. The Zephyrian colonies want to know how our nanites work. The Crystalline Federation is asking for quantum torpedo designs." Minho had not expected this. The plan had been to defend Earth, not to lead a galactic revolution. But human success was inspiring oppressed species everywhere to fight for their freedom. "Captain, prepare a response. Tell them we will help any species that wants to be free." The Empire's Supreme Council was meeting in emergency session on their capital world of Corvax Prime. For the first time in Imperial history, they were discussing the possibility of defeat. "How many systems have declared independence?" asked Emperor Vraktos. 87 confirmed rebellions, reported Intelligence Director Vexishan. Another 40 systems have gone silent and are not responding to Imperial communications. "What? About our fleets?" Admiral Zorthak's second fleet was converted by human nanites. Admiral Bextar's third fleet was destroyed by rebel forces in the Kepler system. Admiral Nexvol's fourth fleet is retreating from the Vegan colonies after their ships began malfunctioning due to human computer viruses. Emperor Vraktos had ruled the galaxy for 500 years. He had never faced a crisis like this. "What makes these humans so dangerous?" "They fight unlike any species we have encountered," reported military analyst Kex Ron. "They do not follow established tactical doctrine. They adapt constantly during battle, and they have weaponized civilian technology in ways we never anticipated." "But they are a primitive species." "No, sir. Our intelligence was wrong. They have been hiding advanced technology for decades. They have been studying us while we underestimated them. Colonel Yeon Wu ran humanity's intelligence network. Her job was to gather information about the Empire and find potential allies among oppressed species. What she discovered changed everything. Admiral Minho, I have critical intelligence about the Empire structure," she reported. "What did you find?" "The Empire controls the galaxy through fear and technology suppression. They keep subject species from developing advanced weapons, but they also depend on those species for resources and labor. What does that mean for us? If enough species rebel at the same time, the Empire cannot fight them all. They do not have enough ships or troops to control the entire galaxy by force. This intelligence led to humanity's most ambitious operation yet. General Subin was given command of a joint human-alien liberation fleet targeting the Kepler colonies. This is not just about human survival anymore," Subin told her mixed crew of humans and aliens. "We are fighting for the freedom of every species in the galaxy." Her fleet included ships from 6 different species that had joined the rebellion. Zephyrian crystal ships that could phase through Imperial shields. Aquatic Valderan vessels that could fight underwater on ocean worlds. Silicon-based rocklings whose ships could disguise themselves as asteroids. The liberation of Kepler III became a model for the resistance. Instead of simply defeating Imperial forces, The joint fleet helped the native Keplerians build their own defense systems using human technology. "We are not here to conquer you," Subin explained to the Keplerian leaders. "We are here to help. You defend yourselves." She left behind human engineers who taught the Keplerians how to build quantum torpedoes and nanite swarms. More importantly, she left behind the idea that species could work together as equals instead of rulers and subjects. Captain Boram was leading deep strike missions into Imperial space. Her job was to hit supply lines, communication networks, and isolated Imperial bases, but her missions had an unexpected effect. "Captain, we are receiving surrender requests from Imperial garrisons," reported her tactical officer. "Surrender requests?" "Yes, sir. Entire Imperial bases are asking to switch sides. They say they would rather fight for freedom than for the Empire." This was unprecedented. Imperial troops were abandoning their posts to join the rebellion. Some were aliens who had been forced to serve the Empire. Others were actually Imperial citizens who were tired of endless conquest. The psychological warfare was as effective as the military campaigns. Captain Na-Un had been broadcasting human music and entertainment throughout Imperial space. The programs showed human creativity, humor, and individuality. "Sir, this is having a strange effect on Imperial populations," reported her communication officer. "What kind of effect?" "They are requesting more human entertainment. Some Imperial worlds are asking if they can join the human alliance voluntarily. The Empire had controlled the galaxy by suppressing creativity and individuality. Human culture was spreading like a virus, inspiring alien species to think for themselves. Admiral Minho received a message that changed the entire nature of the war. It came from an unexpected source. Imperial Admiral Kesdan of the Fifth Fleet. "Human Admiral," the message began, "I am contacting you in secret. Many of us in the Imperial military are tired of endless conquest. We join to serve the galaxy, not to oppress it." The message continued. "I can provide you with intelligence about Imperial defenses. In exchange, I want assurance that surrendering Imperial forces will be treated fairly." Minho realized that the Empire was collapsing from within. Human ideas about freedom and cooperation were spreading faster than human ships. "Captain Ha-Yun, prepare a response," he ordered. "Tell Admiral Kesdan that we accept his offer. Any Imperial forces that surrender will be welcomed as allies." The effect was immediate. Entire Imperial fleets began switching sides. The Fifth Fleet joined the rebellion and brought detailed intelligence about Imperial capital defenses. The Seventh Fleet mutinied against their commanders and declared independence. The Ninth Fleet simply disappeared, with their ships scattered, to protect rebel colonies. Emperor Vraktos watched his empire crumble as species after species declared independence. His military was deserting. His subject worlds were rebelling. His own officers were defecting to the human alliance. "How many loyal fleets do we have left?" he asked his remaining advisors. "The First Fleet remains loyal," reported military commander Zex Tal. "But they are defending the capital system. The Second and Third Fleets are fighting rebel forces in the outer colonies. All other fleets have either been destroyed, converted, or have defected." "What about the human fleet?" "Intelligence suggests they are preparing to attack Korvax Prime directly." Emperor Vraktos could not believe that a species he had never heard of 6 months ago was now threatening his capital world. "How large is their fleet?" "Unknown. They keep capturing and converting our ships. Their fleet grows larger every day, while ours grows smaller." Supreme Admiral Kreldan had one last desperate plan. We could use the planet killer weapon, he suggested. Destroy Earth and end this rebellion. And make them martyrs? Vraktos replied. The humans have become heroes to half the galaxy. If we destroy their homeworld, every species in the galaxy will unite against us. Then what do you suggest? Emperor Vraktos looked at the galactic map. Red markers showed rebel-controlled systems. Blue markers showed Imperial-controlled systems. For the first time in his reign, there was more red than blue. We negotiate, he said quietly. Negotiate? The Empire is finished. The humans have done something we thought was impossible. They have united the galaxy against us. We can either fight until we are all dead, or we can try to find a way to coexist. It was a shocking admission from an emperor who had never negotiated with anyone. But the alternative was the complete destruction of everything the Empire had built over 10,000 years. Contact the human admiral, Vraktos ordered. Tell him the Empire is ready to discuss terms. The galaxy held its breath as the most powerful empire in history prepared to surrender to the species they had come to conquer. The final battle for the galaxy's future took place not at Earth, but at Korvax Prime, the Empire's capital world. Admiral Teho commanded the largest fleet in human history, but it was no longer just a human fleet. Ships from dozens of species flew together under the banner of the Galactic Liberation Alliance. Zephyrian crystal vessels flew alongside human destroyers. Aquatic Valderan ships moved in formation with converted Imperial cruisers. Rocky rockling vessels disguised as asteroids provided reconnaissance. Admiral Teho, this is Admiral Kesdan of the former Imperial Fifth Fleet, came a transmission. My ships are in position to support your assault. Admiral Zorthak reporting, came another voice. The former Second Fleet is ready to fight for freedom. Teho looked at the tactical display. 6 months ago, these had been enemy commanders, trying to destroy Earth. Now they were allies fighting to liberate their own homeworld from Imperial tyranny. All ships, this is Admiral Teho. Today we are not fighting to conquer. We are fighting to free the capital world from the same oppression that threatened us all. Emperor Vraktos watched the approaching fleet from his palace throne room. The irony was bitter. He was about to be conquered by the same species he had ordered to surrender 6 months ago. Sir, incoming transmission from the human fleet, reported his communication officer. Put it through. Admiral Teho's face appeared on the screen. The human looked tired but determined. Emperor Vraktos, I am offering you one chance to surrender peacefully. Order your remaining fleets to stand down, and we can end this war without more bloodshed. And if I refuse, then we will take your capital by force. But we will do everything possible to protect the civilian population. Vraktos was surprised by this response. In his experience, conquerors threatened to destroy everything if they were resisted. The humans were promising to protect his people, even during an invasion. I need time to consider your offer. You have 1 hour. The final Imperial fleet was commanded by Admiral Dextor, the Emperor's most loyal officer. His ships surrounded Korvax Prime like a protective shell. They were outnumbered 3-1, but they were fighting to defend their home. All ships prepare for combat, Dextor ordered. We will show these rebels what Imperial honor means. The battle began when Captain Nayun's ship accidentally fired on a civilian evacuation transport. The shot was deflected by human shields, but the incident changed everything. All ships, cease fire, Teho ordered immediately. Priority 1 is civilian safety. Nayun maneuvered her ship between the Imperial fleet and the civilian transport. This is Captain Nayun to all Imperial and Alliance ships. We are protecting this civilian vessel. Anyone who fires on civilians will answer to me personally. Admiral Dextor could not believe what he was seeing. The human captain was using her own ship as a shield to protect Imperial civilians. This went against everything he had been taught about conquest and warfare. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked his tactical officer. Dextor stared at the human ship protecting his people. In 30 years of military service, he had never seen an enemy prioritize civilian safety over military objectives. "Stand down," he ordered quietly. "Sir?" "I said stand down. Lower our weapons." "But, sir, we are defending the Empire." Dexter thought about what the Empire had become. Endless conquest, oppression of weaker species, and the suppression of freedom throughout the galaxy. Then he looked at the human ship still protecting Imperial civilians. "No," he said. "We are defending the past. They are fighting for the future." One by one, Imperial ships lowered their weapons. The sight of humans protecting Imperial civilians had broken their will to fight. They realized they were not defending their home from invaders. They were defending a system that had oppressed the galaxy for thousands of years. Emperor Vraktos received reports of his fleet's surrender with mixed emotions. He was losing his empire. But he was also ending a war that could have destroyed millions of lives. "Open a channel to the human admiral," he ordered. "Admiral Tejo, this is Emperor Vraktos. I hereby surrender the Galactic Empire to the Liberation Alliance. But I have conditions." "What conditions?" "Protection for Imperial civilians who were not involved in military operations. Fair treatment for Imperial officers who surrender. And help rebuilding the galaxy as something better than what we created." Tejo was quiet for a moment. The Emperor was not just surrendering. He was asking for help to build a better future. "Your conditions are accepted, Emperor. We are not here to replace one oppressive system with another. We are here to build something new." The formal surrender took place on the neutral moon of Korvax Minor. Representatives from every species in the galaxy attended the ceremony. President Sojin represented Earth and humanity. "Today, the Galactic Empire ends," she announced. "But this is not a victory of one species over another. This is a victory of freedom over oppression, cooperation over conquest." Emperor Vraktos signed the surrender documents with dignity. "I hereby dissolve the Galactic Empire and transfer all authority to the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds." Admiral Minho was chosen as the first Supreme Commander of the new Federation. His first order was to begin converting Imperial military bases into civilian aid stations. "Our job now is to help every species rebuild," he explained. "We will share our technology freely. We will defend those who cannot defend themselves, and we will never repeat the Empire's mistakes." The transformation was remarkable. Imperial warships were converted into hospital ships and cargo vessels. Military bases became schools and research centers. Weapons factories were retooled to produce medical equipment and farming tools. Dr. Yunbi led teams of human scientists to former Imperial worlds, teaching alien species how to build their own defense systems and improve their technology. But they also learned from alien science, creating new innovations through cooperation. Captain J. Mean, who had once commanded a hidden warship, now captained the exploration vessel New Sol. His mission was to discover new worlds and invite them to join the Federation as equals. "This is Captain Jamin of the Federation ship New Sol," he transmitted to a newly discovered species. "We come in peace to offer friendship and cooperation. We are not here to conquer or rule. We are here to learn and to help." The response was cautious but hopeful. This is Chief Scientist Veltar of the Meridian Republic. We have heard stories of the species that defeated the Empire through cooperation rather than conquest. Are these stories true? They are true, and we would like to share that cooperation with you. 1 year after the Empire's surrender, the galaxy was unrecognizable. The new Federation included over 300 species working together as equals. Trade routes that had been controlled by imperial monopolies were now open to all. Scientific research that had been suppressed for security reasons was shared freely. Admiral Tae Ho, now retired from military service, worked as a teacher at the new Galactic Academy on Earth. He taught young beings from across the galaxy about military history and the importance of fighting for freedom rather than conquest. The Empire made one crucial mistake. He told his mixed class of human, alien, and former Imperial students. They believed that strength came from controlling others, but real strength comes from helping others become strong themselves. Emperor Vraktos, now simply called Citizen Vraktos, worked with the Federation's Truth and Reconciliation Commission. His job was to help former Imperial worlds transition to self-governance and to make amends for past Imperial crimes. I spent 500 years believing that order required oppression, he admitted to a gathering of former Imperial subjects. The humans taught me that true order comes from cooperation and mutual respect. The war that had begun with an ultimatum to surrender had ended with humanity leading a galaxy-wide transformation. Earth, the world the Empire had expected to conquer in hours, had become the symbol of a new age of freedom and cooperation. Captain Jamin stood on the bridge of New Sol as his ship approached an unexplored star system. His crew included humans, former Imperial officers, and representatives from a dozen different species. They were not conquerors or colonists. They were explorers and friends. New contacts detected, reported his Zephyrian science officer. Multiple settlements on the third planet. Peaceful approach, Jamin ordered. Standard first contact protocols. Let them know we come in friendship. As the ship moved toward this new world, Jamin thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, meeting an unknown species meant either conquest or submission. Now it meant the possibility of new friends and new knowledge. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders. And for the first time in 10,000 years, all of its inhabitants were free to explore it together. Behind them, Earth continued to spin peacefully in its orbit around Sol. The blue world that had refused to surrender had given the galaxy something more valuable than victory. It had given them hope for a better future.